Okay, what do we have from the Daily Fail? And before I read this, YouTube, don't hit me with some bullshit medical misinformation, because all I am doing is reading from the Daily Fail. And as you know, the Daily Fail never fail. They have the news before the news actually happens. But anyway, New South Wales Health switches to recording patients as dying. Here it is, with COVID instead of from, after finally acknowledging many of Australia's 993 casualties died from something else or had even recovered from the virus. Guaranteed 993 all fit in that category. We've been saying this right from the start, with COVID and not from COVID. And they finally acknowledged it, have they? Will this be on the Channel 7, Channel 9 news tonight? I doubt it very much. Let's read on here. New South Wales Health has switched to recording patients as dying with instead of from COVID, as it acknowledges not all of the country's 933 deaths, I'd say 0, were directly linked to the deadly virus. Deadly. You know, how many people have died in Victoria? 0, and it's deadly. Sorry. Dr. Jeremy McNulty made the admission during Sunday's COVID briefing as the state recorded 1,218 new cases of corona BS. 6 people died with COVID in the 24 hours to 8 p.m. on Saturday. I think 3 were in the 70s and 3 in the 80s. Yeah, like the prime of their lives in nursing homes, most likely. Bringing the total death toll of this outbreak to 89 deaths since June 18. Since June 16. Dr. McNulty said the change in language was because it's becoming fucking obvious, everyone can see, that it's all these older people that have been dying supposedly from it. And as you know, older people have so many other health conditions. He says because it was very difficult to know. No, it's simple to fucking know. If you've died from multiple heart attacks, you've died from fucking heart attack, not from some bullshit virus that just happens to appear for a few days. Whether someone with COVID died from the virus or another health complication. Very difficult to know. There's such a thing as autopsies. You ever heard of them? Oh no, fuck that. As soon as these people die, they bury them. No autopsies. Can't have that shit. We know when elderly people die, they can have a range of comorbidities, and also being old increases your risk of death. Oh, fucking really? That's big news for me. I guess no one knew that. No one knew that. That's why they get these deaths out of nursing homes. COVID may often play a role in the death, but it may not. Sometimes some of our cases who have sadly died appear to have recovered from COVID, and then they have died of something else. From a heart attack. We report people who have died with COVID unless there is a very clear alternative. Oh, fucking really. So having a heart attack isn't a clear alternative, is it? He added that it was difficult for doctors who were looking after patients to know exactly how much the virus contributed to their death. I'm sure they know. I'm sure that's part of their freaking job. It seems too difficult, apparently. The symbolic change in language comes as New South Wales Health begins to acknowledge the country's 933 COVID deaths were not all direct results of the deadly virus. As explained by McNulty, some of the deaths previously reported as from COVID were actually the consequence of another health condition of the victim, or the victim had fully recovered from the virus before the death. They keep repeating the same shit. There it is, 6 people died. Supposedly this guy. Yeah, let's hear about this guy. Earlier this month, Adi Al Askar, a forklift truck driver from Liverpool, collapsed in his shower after contracting COVID-19 from his wife, Yasmin, who works in aged care. Oh, yeah, good script, that one. So he caught it from his wife, and she just happened to work in aged care where, you know, everyone else is got this deadly virus. The 27-year-old was isolating with his wife in the unit in Sydney Southwest and barely showed any COVID symptoms before his untimely death. Because he doesn't have any fucking COVID, that's why. However, heart conditions reportedly run in the... Oh, really? Heart conditions reportedly run in the Al-Askar family. And his cousin, Khalid, told Daily Mail Australia he believed it was this that cost the man his life, not the virus. Mr. Tajil, that's the cousin, said his cousin, a factory worker, had not yet been vaccinated despite government directives for all Sydneysiders, particularly those living in hotspots, to get the jab. So they just have to bring this vaccination shit in, which has got nothing to do with the guy dying from heart conditions. No, but they're just going to bring that shit in, don't they? New South Wales Chief Health Officer, the horror head Kerry Chad, said Mr. Al-Askar was being cared for by the local health district, but suddenly deteriorated. Oh, yeah, right. He was being checked daily, and he did complain of feeling a little fatigued, but the deterioration happened suddenly, is my understanding. My understanding. Like, you're the health officer, and it's my understanding, so you're not really sure, are you? We are aware that with COVID you get sudden deaths. Yeah? Really? Not like any other disease that are, sudden deaths. Oh, no, but we are aware COVID gives you a sudden death. Paramedics who responded to the emergency reportedly confirmed that Miss Al-Askar suffered heart failure, whereas the hospital and Dr. Chan specified that COVID was a contributing factor in his death. Chan, what the fuck do you know? You just said your understanding. You had nothing to do with the friggin' death. You're not a paramedic. You're not a doctor. You just sit wherever in your friggin' fucking office and read the script. So, no. Dr. Chad believes or specifies that COVID was the major cause of the death, yeah. There he is. We've got here Osama, oh, what a name, Osama Sudu, from Sydney's COVID hit Southwest, became the state's youngest victim after dying of meningitis in hospital on August 15th. A few weeks later, Osama Sudu from Sydney's COVID hit Southwest became the state's youngest recorded victim of COVID-19, though he died of meningitis. Actually thought it was a girl. Oh, it's a boy. He died from meningitis. The 15-year-old was admitted to hospital, though, with pneumococcal meningitis, a life-threatening infectious disease that causes inflammation of the layers surrounding the brain and spinal cord. You'd think there'd be a certainty that pneumococcal meningitis was the cause of the death, but it was big news. 15-year-old dies from COVID. Youngest victim. That's the shit. That's the shit that we got to put up with. And how many people fell for it, ran out and got the V because of it. The 15-year-old was admitted to hospital, though I've read that already. Osama was moved into intensive care and placed on life support after testing positive. Oh, so the only reason he was moved into intensive care because he tested positive, not because he was fucking rat shit from this pneumococcal meningitis. Oh no, let's test him for COVID. Don't worry about this thing that's got a 99.99% chance of killing him within days. Let's test him to see if he's got COVID. And put him down as a statistic. I mean, come on. And he tests positive, so let's put him on life support because we think he's going to die from COVID, not from the meningitis. It's laughable. He's understood to have died at Sydney's hospital on August 15. The hospital said Osama was not vaccinated, so they're going to bring that vaccine shit in. They have to every time say he was not vaccinated or they died because they weren't vaccinated. Every time, as he was too young, but was up to date with his routine childhood vaccinations. The family has agreed that we can indicate that he has pneumococcal meningitis. Dr. Chant said at the time. So she knew that he had meningitis, but no, the big news all over, the media, 15-year-old dies from COVID. What else we got here? Last Monday, a 30-year-old woman was found unresponsive at a home in Emberton, with New South Wales Health confirming she was COVID positive when she died. Yeah, so fucking what? Ayaneta Isaka, another of the three, tested positive with the virus just days before her condition took a turn for the worse. So what they do, when they're just about to die from whatever reason, they test them, and they just say that they're positive, and yeah, bango, we'll put them down as COVID. From COVID. You can do that any time. You could, a guy's fucking, had triple fucking heart attacks, and it's just about seconds away. Oh, let's just quickly test him for COVID. Yep, he's positive. Fuck, COVID death. A joke. Chant later confirmed that these Osama had been admitted to hospital for, we went through that already. I don't want to go through this. Don't want to go through that. So there it is. Finally, they're admitting it's with and not from. So I like them to go back retrospectively to the first deaths here in Australia, and let's just check them all out. Let's check how many of these so-called 900 odd were with and not from. Guarantee all of them were. 100% guarantee all of them were.